almost passed away on my last date. I wish I was exaggerating. I wish I was being dramatic. I'm absolutely not. It was 100% my fault, but my date's reaction to it.
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Dating View. In today's video, men and women share their wildest dating stories and explain why they feel dating is going downhill in 2026. From shocking experiences to patterns they keep seeing repeat themselves. They open up about moments that left them confused, frustrated, or completely surprised. This video reflects the chaos, unpredictability, and burnout many people are feeling in modern dating, and why confidence in the dating landscape continues to decline. These are real experiences and honest opinions on where dating seems to be headed.
Okay, so not long at all into my browsing through my likes on Hinge, I come across this profile, this guy who has pictures with, like, he's friends with this other guy that I actually, like, went on a few dates with a while ago, right? So remind me of this story about him. So this guy and I, we matched just a couple years ago. We match, we end up going on a couple dates, it ends up fizzling out, whatever. 6 months later, he likes me again on Hinge, which you have my number, but whatever, I'll play the game. So we start messaging on there. He's like talking about one of the pictures on my profile is me at a bar. He was like, oh my gosh, like, is this from room 40? Were you at room 40? I was like, room 40, not familiar, no. And he said, oh my gosh, like, it's this new bar, like, it's right across the river, like, it's so cool. I can't believe you haven't been there. Like, I'm gonna have to take you on a date to room 40. And so I was like, yeah, like, you can take me on a date to room 40. Sounds fun, whatever, would love to check it out. So we're texting and he keeps bringing up, like, this is over a course of a couple days. He keeps bringing up room 40. He's just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you haven't been to room 40. I can't believe you haven't heard of it. Like, you're gonna love it. It's so much fun. It's such a cool vibe. Like, I can't wait to take you there. Da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, sounds fun. Like, looking forward to it. Just let me know when. He does this multiple times, like, within our regular conversations until, again, over the course of a couple days, finally he brings it up one more time. And I'm like, dude, I've looked it up at this point. Can't find anything on it. I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, Emma, I really hate to do this to you. I'm like, what? He's like, I just really hate to do this to you. I'm like, what? And then he sends not a text, but a voice memo of him saying, room 4D's nuts in your mouth. I just got a D's nuts joke ran on me by a 25-year-old. He was like 25, 26 at the time. And it's like, he set this up, he set the foundation and then let this joke run for a couple days, like dangling the bait in front of my face every single time he was bringing it up until finally he decided to pull the trigger by sending, again, not a text, but a voice note of him saying a D's nuts joke to me. So, yeah, needless to say, we never went to room 40. We never went anywhere, and I haven't talked to him since.
I got ghosted in real life. This was like a few years ago when I had really long hair, and that's important to remember. Around that time, I had been talking to this guy, let's call him Jay. We really liked each other, but we never hung out before. One day we made plans and I went through with it. The day of the date we were talking and he was telling me how one of his favorite things about me was how long and beautiful my hair was. And then he said that he thinks that if I didn't have hair that long and pretty, he probably wouldn't even talk to me. Which, looking back to it, that's like a weird thing to say. Like, why would you say that? With my luck, I had just gotten a haircut that same morning. Now I was in a time crunch. I had this great idea of just getting hair extensions. No salon had availability this last minute. Then I had found a girl on Instagram who does hair for the low. And she, of course, could take me in last minute. I loved it. I paid. I went home. I got ready for my date. We were meeting up at a restaurant. We sat down. We were vibing, honestly. It was like a pretty good first date. Then it got to a point where he started just looking at his phone and he kind of wouldn't say anything to me. He would just look at his phone, smile. And if I would ask, like, oh, like, what's up? Like, what are you doing? He'd be like, no, sorry. Like, and then put his phone back down. The waiter came to take our order. Of course, the waiter also started kind of holding in a laugh. And that's when I was getting really fucking insecure because I saw that the waiter was looking at my head. My head, my hair, what was wrong with it? But now, not only was he spending a lot of time on his phone, it looked like he was taking pictures of me from like a 0.5 angle. Naturally, I tried to play it off and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. I got up from my seat and there was a whole bunch of hair left on the chair. When I tell you I ran fast as fuck to the bathroom and I checked the mirror. As soon as I got to the mirror, I had a bald spot literally like right here and then just a whole bunch of short hair sticking up around it. It was insane. I was freaking out because my date is laughing at me and taking pictures of me. At this point, the only thing I could have done was just go outside and explain myself. I got back to my table and he wasn't there. And then shortly after, the waiter comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, your friend said you would pay the bill." My friend, which is Jay, left the restaurant and left me to pay for his food and my food. And when I went to go check, I was blocked on everything. And I've just never heard from him since. But yeah, I hope my story made you feel better about your worst date.
I think I've gotten stood up because I was supposed to go on a date tonight and I drove 40 minutes to this man's place and he texts me 10 minutes as I'm driving and he goes, "Oh, I'll let you know when to come because I'm talking to my family right now." Like he was calling his family. And I was like, "Oh, that's fine." Like, I arrived and I was like, "Oh, okay, he'll just be on call with his family for a bit. Like, no biggie." 30 minutes fucking later, no text, no call, like, nothing after I say, "Oh, oops, I arrived early." He said, "Ha ha ha, for fuck's sake, I'm by the water." So I parked near the water, can't see this man. And, like, at all, like, mind you, like, there's a lot of fucking water, so he could be anywhere. And, 30 minutes goes by. No response. I text him and I say, I say like, "Okay, this is like kind of ridiculous now. Can you text me back?" And then nothing. Mind you, at this point, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna stick this shit out because I wanna literally rage. It's been a fucking hour, guys. An hour, no text, no call. Mind you, I've tried to call him, attempted, nothing. Drier than my fucking cooch right now. I am so angry. I could actually be violent. Like, I'm just, you know what I'm expecting to see right now? I'm expecting to see him with another girl walk straight past me. Like, that's exactly what I'm, like, my mind is picturing right now. And I just want it to be true so I can go out there and strangle him. Anyway, I hope your night's better than mine because I think I might have to drive home. A 40-minute drive home. And mind you, this is, like, 20 minutes away from my work tomorrow. So that's just a big plus for me. So hope your night's going better than mine.
I almost passed away on my last date. I wish I was exaggerating. I wish I was being dramatic. I'm absolutely not. It was 100% my fault, but my date's reaction to it has made everyone that I've told this story shook. So I'm gonna tell you, the date started off normal. He picked a spot. It was a steakhouse, a Brazilian steakhouse. Just to set the scene, it's like kind of dark and there's a guy playing Spanish guitar, which is almost funnier because that's the last thing I would have heard before meeting our creator. So it's one of those steakhouses, has you pick your steak by size, and I don't know ounces. So me, I'm a dumb American. My idiot ass orders a 12-ounce steak, which apparently is ginormous, like this. And I'm trying to cut into it. Like, I'm literally putting everything I've got into this steak. And I was like, all right, she's stubborn. It must be the knife that I have. I call over the waiter and I'm like, "Hey, could I have another knife? Because this one's just not doing it." He brings me a whole new knife. I finally get a chunk of it off. I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna put this whole thing in my mouth. I'm just going to cut half of it like with my teeth and swallow half and worry about the other half later. The reason that this meat was so chewy was because there was tendons connecting the meat. So when I swallowed half of the meat, brought the whole second unchewed half to the back of my throat. I immediately start choking to the point where there's no airflow, so there's no sound coming out of my mouth. So I'm doing the international SOS, and my date's like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yes." He kind of gets up because he's like, "Am I gonna have to do the Heimlich maneuver on this bitch?" And he's kind of just like watching me. This is all really fast. And as I'm choking, he looks at me and he says, "Don't you fucking know how to eat?" As I'm choking. Had I died, those would have been the last freaking words that I heard. That and a Spanish guitar. Anyway, I open my mouth, I dig in there, and I pull the piece of meat out of my own mouth. lands on the plate. He sits back down, doesn't ask me if I'm okay. Obviously, my eyes are teary-eyed because I literally was choking A and B. I was scared, but I knew that if I started crying that he was gonna like get mad at me or something. I don't know. By that reaction, I was just like, oh, he hates me. So I go to the bathroom so that I can cry in there in peace. I'm crying like this so that the tears flow down the side of my face. Story's not over, and that's not even the worst part. I walk back out there, and when I sat down, he's done with his meal. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want to eat any of the freaking food anymore. Like, I almost died. And he sees that I'm not eating it really, and he says, well, that's a waste of $50. Mind you, I almost died. If you're wondering what dating looks like, it's tough out here, girl. Make sure that they have CPR certified on their Hinge profile.
I got rejected by the second guy I went on a date with this year. Lock in for the Storytime girls. If you're new here, my name's Michaela. I've been single for 4 years, but recently got on Hinge to start intentionally dating in hopes to find my man this year. One of my matches was with this super cute artsy boy who is actually a couple years younger than me, and I typically aim for older, so I was already stepping out of my comfort zone here. We connected on our love for the arts, TV, movies, theater, museums, all of that fun stuff. After chatting a bit in the app, he did ask for my number and we moved it over to text. Shortly after that, he asked me on a date. I was enjoying the conversation through text, so of course I said yes. I picked the day and then he just said, okay, meet me for this time. I've got everything else planned. Love it. He drove down from the Boston area to meet me in Providence, which I really appreciated that he made that effort. When we met in the city, we both got out of our cars, met halfway, had a nice cute little hug to greet each other. We started walking over to one of the art museums downtown and had a nice time getting to know each other a little bit more while also enjoying the art that was in the museum. After about 30 minutes in the museum, we left and walked over to a restaurant that he had found for us in the area. It was a really nice, kind of fancy place, and the dining room hadn't opened yet, so we grabbed 2 seats at the bar while we waited. I got a mocktail, he got a cocktail, and we ordered a couple apps to share. The conversation definitely flowed smoothly, and we were learning that we had a lot in common. We connected on our love for travel, for animals, again about the arts, TV shows specifically. Learned more about what each other does for work, and honestly it was going really well. We were laughing, having some fun banter with the bartender, and then shortly after we got a seat in the dining room. They sat us in a corner booth, so I was sitting here and he was sitting like here. We both ordered the special on the menu, which was veal. It was really good. And continued to have some really nice conversation. After we finished our meals, I was showing him something on my phone and wanted to move a little bit closer, so I snuck in and ended up sitting right on the side of him. Things got a little flirty. He had his hand on my thigh. I was touching his arm, just like a little playful touching here and there. I was definitely enjoying my time, and it seemed like he was too. We got a dessert to share, and then that was pretty much the end of our time at the restaurant. Oh, but before we left, I did ask if I could see him again, and he said that he would love that, so we tentatively made plans, and then as we left the restaurant, we held hands and walked back to the cars that way. I thought it was super cute. As we were walking back, he looks at me and says, "So, do you kiss on the first date?" And I had already been feeling it at the restaurant, so I looked at him and said, "Oh, I'm definitely kissing you." So we walked over to his car because I was actually staying in the city to meet up with some friends. And when we got there, he put his hands on my face, pulled me in, and we shared a very nice kiss. He said, "Why don't we get in my car and make out a little bit?" I said, "Of course. I'd love nothing more." So that's exactly what we did. And at one point, I remember he pulled away, looked at me and said, "Ugh, I like everything about you." A moment for Better Than Sex mascara, because what? After a little while, I finally had to say that I needed to get going, even though I didn't want it to end. Since he had a bit of a drive to get home, I said, "Make sure you text me when you get back." And he was off. About an hour later, I did get a text from him saying that he made it back safely and that it was the best date he had ever been on. I showed up to the bar where I was meeting my girls so giddy and excited about how it went. We were clearly feeling each other, but of course it was only the first date, so we still needed to get to know each other more. We continued texting for about a week and were getting close to our second date. I was definitely looking forward to seeing him again, but in the back of my mind, I knew that he wasn't screaming husband material to me. So just a few days ago, I sent him an audio saying that I actually needed to reschedule, and this is the message that I got from him. I was thinking, I don't want to lead you on, but I don't know if I'm ready for a relationship, and I don't want to waste your time. I would feel guilty. I think you're amazing, you have a beautiful soul, and I had a really great date with you. I do want to explore friendship with you if that's something you would also like. I don't believe meeting people is an accident, so I would really want to be friends if it's possible. Not even 10 minutes before I got that text, I just finished talking to one of my girlfriends about how I was going to have to let guy from date number 2 know that I was no longer interested because guy from date number 3, story time coming, is the one that I'm really feeling right now. So can you say divine timing? Like the freaking universe had my back in this moment. This is exactly how you respectfully and kindly let someone know you're not interested when your intentions don't align. I'm grateful for him. I wish him the best, and the search for my husband continues.
I have a dating horror story. Not really a horror story, but just like it's horror for me. I decided to give Hinge a chance. Now, typically I use Hinge as my little fan club. I log in, I swipe, I'm like, oh my God, attention, woohoo, it's fun. I log off, I got my fix for the day. Matched with this man and he looked like super familiar. I was like, why does this man look so familiar? That's kind of why I matched with him in general. We're like yapping and chatting. And then he was like, I want to follow you on Instagram. I'm like, okay, whatever. I was also in this era of if I don't say yes to dates, I'm never going to meet a man that's actually like normal and good. So I'm going to say yes to the date. So I let him follow me on Instagram. I look at our DMs. This man has DM'd me before, like swiped up on my stories. You're so hot, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, okay. This man has been working for this for a little bit. So you know what? I will go on a date with him because he's been trying. Like, let me reward a little effort here. So I'm like, okay, yes, I'll go on a date with you. We are like yapping nonstop for a week. One of the days I was really down bad. I hardly slept the night before. He was like, I really want to send you a coffee. I was like, I'm not going to give this man my address. I'm not going to let this man know where I live. And I feel like weird, like allowing someone to send me a coffee. And then I realized, I remembered in my head, I let other men treat me like shit. So why can't I let this random man send me a coffee? Why not? So I let him send me a coffee. Things in my brain, I'm like, wow, he's a really nice guy. Like, things are going great. Like, he's really putting an effort in. He really wants to take me on this date. I'm allowing him to put effort in. He's texting me. He's calling me. He's asking me how my day is. And then he was like, I feel like we should FaceTime before we go on a date. Okay. I think that's weird. Okay. I was getting like, oh, he thinks I'm a catfish vibes. And I know other people are going to be like, it's not weird to have like a little conversation before the date, but we were having phone call conversations and I'm also very awkward. So I was like, okay, FaceTime. Like I have to sit there with my phone propped up and like, I have to like force conversation, you know, like the awkward FaceTimes where you feel like you have to like say things and you don't really know somebody that well. So you are like making sure there's no awkward silence. So we have our little FaceTime call. It goes great. Sure. I'm like comfortable. I'm like, okay, like I could see myself like not having to take 4 glasses of Sauvignon Blanc to the face before meeting this man. Vibes are good. We get to the day before. We get to Thursday. We're supposed to go on our date on Friday. We get to Thursday. On Thursday, he's like, yeah, I feel like we should just, you know, like hang out at my house on Friday. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not, in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to your home. I don't fucking know you. I'm not going to your home. So he's like, I feel like we should just like hang out at my house, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh no, like I would actually love to like go out for drinks before and then like we could, you know, split off, do our own thing. Like I gave options. I was like, we can do dinner, we can go out for drinks, like we can meet up with my friends, we can make it a group thing. He's like, okay. Friday rolls around. I don't really hear from him. I hear from him, which it's a rule for me. If I don't hear from you before noon, it's not happening. The date's not happening. I end up hearing from him around noon and he's not like checking in and being like, hey, like we have a reservation for this time. We're gonna go here, blah, blah, blah. Are you good? Like, da-da-da-da-da. Not saying that. And someone on here is going to say I'm difficult, but it's not hard. If you were going to a lunch date with a coworker or a friend, you would confirm before. You would confirm the reservation. You would make sure your friend is still down. It's not weird for a man who's taking me on a date to confirm. Noon rolls around and he's having conversation with me, but he's not like, hey, we're still on for tonight. We're going here. I have no idea what restaurant we're going to, whatever. I'm already getting weird vibes. And in the back of my head, I'm already like, okay, I'm not loving this. So I'm going to prepare to make other plans for my Friday. It gets to be like 3 o'clock and he's like, why don't you come to my house for a drink before? And I was like, oh, he already asked me this yesterday. So I was a little bit annoyed. I wasn't gonna make it a problem, but in the back of my head, I was like, okay, like this is annoying. I was a little bit annoyed. So I was very polite. I said, oh, I think it would just be better if we met for dinner or drinks before we're in each other's space, just because we don't know each other that well. And overall, in the back of my head, I'm thinking like my general safety. I'm not going to go to a man's home that I have never met before. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm doing. I politely decline. We keep talking, the rest of the day is fine. And then he asks me again. He's like, I really just want you to come over for a drink before. And now I'm like getting like, number one, you're not listening to my no. And automatically, like, I'm so sick of dealing with men who don't fucking listen to my no and push me. I politely declined not once, not twice, but I'm pretty sure 3 times because I also declined on FaceTime as well. I told you I'm not coming to your house before the date. I was very polite about it. I just want to meet you in person. It's really not that weird. And if you don't want to plan a date, don't fucking plan a date. Don't ask me to go on a fucking date. Ah! Like, just wanted me to go to your house. Just ask me to pull up to your house. Don't do this whole bullshit. I politely decline again. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get ready at my friend's house. I'm going to have a drink at hers before I meet you. Radio silence. Radio silence. I'm like, okay. So I didn't hear from him for a half an hour. So I called my friend. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going on this date. Let's just plan to go out elsewhere. Then I had not heard from him. So automatically I was like, you're a freak. Me and my friend end up going for drinks at Wally's. And as I'm telling my other friend this story, she's like, well, what does he look like? I go to pull up his Instagram. He blocked me. He blocked me and he blocked my number and he like unadded me or whatever the fuck on Hinge. So I was like, you're a serial killer. You are a fucking weirdo. You are so weird. It was just so bizarre to me. And that's why I'm never going to use Hinge again. And I'm never going to ever talk to anybody on there again because it was just so weird. And here I am thinking I'm taking a little chance and I'm going to be social and go on a date. And that happens. Yeah, not my vibe. And also super weird. And all I can say is it was giving red flags. And I'm really proud of myself for not giving into the red flags because I love a little toxic moment. But he was like kind of making me uncomfortable and scaring me. So I didn't end up going on a date with him, obviously. And mind you, this man was in my DMs. In my DMs begging for me to just give him a grain of attention. That's why I'm not going to date in 2026. Especially in Los Angeles. Bizarre. Bizarre.
All right, do you want to hear something absolutely cooked? So I started seeing this guy that I matched with on Hinge a while ago. First date was all right, was good. Second date, good. Third date, there were a few things that were a bit questionable, right? Third date comes around. He goes to me, when are you free this week? I said, I'm free Friday. Thursday, I'm catching up with my girlfriends. He goes, great, Friday it is. Wednesday comes around, or Tuesday or something comes around. And he goes to me, oh, by the way, you're going to have to cancel on your girlfriend Thursday because I've got us tickets to Michael Jackson, the musical. And I was like, firstly, fun, really fun. Secondly, I don't like that I have to cancel on my girlfriends. I told you I'm free Friday. So did you buy these tickets for Thursday? Did you get a ticket Thursday? Like, what's going on here? I was like, can we go on Friday? Like, I'm seeing my girlfriends. He goes, no, I'm not taking no for an answer. I've got the ticket for Thursday. But being really, like, coy about it all. And I'm like, did you get these tickets? Like, did you choose to go on a day that I said I'm not available? This is weird. Like, that you're just expecting me to cancel my girlfriends. Anyway, so the Thursday comes around. He goes to me, oh, by the way, I've booked dinner beforehand. Can't have you going to the theatre on an empty stomach. And I go, oh, that's really nice. Cool. That's lovely. And he goes, oh, by the way, there'll be a few other people there, so it'll be fun. And I go to him, what do you mean there's other people there? Like, if I thought this was a date for you and I, like, if there's other people there, I'm going with my girlfriends. Like, if this is like a work thing and you've got a spare ticket, I'm not cancelling on my friends for that. Like, he goes, oh, no, I've already got your ticket. Like, you can't cancel now. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm thinking maybe it's just a work thing. Anyway, Thursday comes around. We meet each other up. We meet each other in the city. We get on the tram. We're going to dinner. And he goes to me as we're, like, getting off the tram. He's messaging someone in WhatsApp. And he goes, oh, I'm just messaging someone that's going to be here tonight, telling them this woman speaks Italian, telling them that you only speak Italian. So speak to her only in Italian. It'll be really funny. And I go to him, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's so awkward. I already don't know these people. This is our third date. Like, don't put me in these uncomfortable positions yet. Just do it. Anyway, walking into the restaurant and he's like, oh, it's that one there sitting down. And I look at him, I'm like, I'm not doing it. He's like, do it. So it's this like more mature aged woman sitting down and I went up to her and I was like shitting myself. And there's also this younger girl who's standing. And I looked at the other woman who's sitting down and I go, ciao, piacere, mi chiamo Alessandra. Sono nata in Italia, blah, blah. So I start talking in Italian, but I'm like nervous. Anyway, I give her a double kiss. She's lovely. She's talking to me in Italian and I'm just getting way too nervous to do this. So I'm like, I can't carry this out for too long. So I look at him and I go, he's lying. I speak English. And they're all looking at me and they're like, wait, what? And I go, he's lying. Like, he just made me do that. This woman that I was speaking to goes, oh, you've really got to have a bit of a personality with this one. Anyway, I'm like, huh? She then leans over to him and gives him a kiss and says, "Hi, darling, how was your day?" I then see the younger girl, and her name was mentioned to me on one of the first dates because it's his brother's girlfriend's name. So I'm then looking at this younger girl, looking at this old woman, hearing the old woman say, "Hi, darling, how's your day?" And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So all of a sudden, the cogs are turning, and I'm realizing it's a dinner! It's a dinner with his family! With his fucking family! And it's not just us, there's extra seats. It's at the table. And I'm like, what is happening? So I look at him and I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm trying to still be cool, because I'm like, this is awkward if they don't know what's going on. I go, what's going on? He goes, nothing, we're just having dinner. I'm like, what? Anyway, we sit down. One of the brothers comes in. I look at him and I go, does he know what's going on? Like, do I go, who do I introduce myself as? Like, this is so weird. He goes, I don't know, just go say hi. So I get up and I'm like, go over to one of the brothers. I'm like, hi, I'm Alessandra. This is so awkward. Meet the girlfriends, everyone. We sit down at the table. They're all lovely, really lovely. I'm chatting, everyone's really nice. I'm speaking to the mum. Anyway, the conversation keeps going, and one of the girlfriends says to me, so how long have you guys been dating? And I said, dating? This is our third date. And one of them said to me, oh, did you know you were meeting us? I said, no. She said, so you didn't know you were meeting the whole family? I said, no, this is a surprise to me. And so they're all like in shock, but also laughing. And I look at him and he's just like brushing it off and laughing like it's no big deal. And I kept saying to him, like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? Like, why didn't you tell me I'm meeting your family? Like, speaking to him quietly. And he's like, oh, because I knew that if I told you, you wouldn't want to come. I'm like, don't trick me into these situations. Like, what? Anyway, so I'm like trying to work out why he's done this. And he's like, you're doing great. Don't worry about it. They're nice people. I had a spare ticket to the theatre. What's the problem? I'm like, we're at a sit-down dinner with your whole family. You didn't warn me that I'm meeting your family. We haven't even had that conversation. It's the third date. What is going on? Oh God, I'm getting so anxious again. Anyway, dinner's over. We're walking to the theatre. And again, I'm trying to like suss out if he's going to acknowledge at all that he's put me in an awkward position. But he's just brushing it off like it's nothing. And he just keeps like laughing. And I'm like, is this normal for you? Like, do you usually bring girls to meet the family on the third date? Like, mucking around, but also like, what's wrong with this guy? Anyway, the theatre was good. Had a great night. Really fun night. Get home and I was like, that was cooked. But I had a good night. Anyway, the whole next day, he doesn't even message me. Does not message me at all. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I've met his family and then he's like ghosting me. So I messaged and I was like, hey, like, I'm a bit confused. You've introduced me to your family and then you've barely spoken to me all day today. Like, what is going on here? This is not my vibe at all. I feel confused. And like, I also feel like you have not acknowledged at all that was a little uncomfortable for me. You're just brushing it off. We ended up talking about it and he was like, oh, I just didn't think it was that big a deal. Like, what's the problem? I was like, why didn't you tell me that I'm meeting your family? Like, why didn't you give me the opportunity to be like, hey, I don't feel comfortable doing that? He's like, oh, because I knew you wouldn't want to come. So anyway, long story short, it didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work. He wasn't the guy for me.
Okay, listen to what happened. This is insane. So there was this guy I was talking to and he had been asking me on like a date for like a long time. And like, I kept dodging it. I was like, no. And then I finally gave in. We went on a date. And it was actually a fun date. I had a good time. After that, he was texting me constantly saying he wants to see me, like all this shit, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't anything serious. I was just bored. We were just having fun, normal shit, I feel like. And then, another thing is, he asked me to go to the gym with him. This is important because that's public area, okay? I did not come up with that. We did that like twice, okay? And another thing is, he would not every time, but there for a minute, he brought up, like, oh, Hayden, I don't think you know how known you are, or like, like ever since we went to the gym, I have people asking me about you like every day, like all this shit. Okay, keep that in mind, right? So one day he texted me and I'm at the gym with my friend and he goes, who are you walking with? And I'm like, what? I was thinking he was in the gym peeping me, right? No, he was not in the gym peeping me. And he was like, are you walking with so-and-so? And I was like, no, who is, like, I don't even know who that is. Like, I think I knew the name, but I don't know her. Like, I don't follow her on Instagram. I don't know anything about her. And he was like, okay. He was like claiming I was lying. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, he was like, I didn't know we were public. Public? What do you mean public? Like, I'm not talking about you. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like not telling me details and shit. And I'm like, what is going on? So I try to call him, and like a pussy, he didn't pick up. He needed time to figure out what he was going to say, I'm sure. But so eventually that night he does call me, and he's like, oh, like, my friend so-and-so, like, called my other friend so-and-so, like, some girl called his friend and said, like, she saw me at the gym with the other girl I don't fucking know, and was like, apparently, now this all could be a lie, we have no idea, but apparently I said, looks like I'm not gonna be single for long, I'm getting a boyfriend, and it's so-and-so. Do I look like I would say that? Let's be real. Let's be honest. Those words would never come out of my mouth. He told me and I laughed. All I could do was laugh. I was like, I don't even know who this chick is. I'm like, no, I didn't say that. I said, no, like, I talked to my friend about you, sure, but I am not talking about boyfriend shit. I'm scared of that. And so he was like, yeah, like, it didn't even sound like you, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I mean, like, you're the one telling me people are coming up to you. Nobody's come up to me. It's on you. Like, this was your idea, you know. People are talking, making up rumors and shit, whatever. I can't control that. And he was like, yeah, like, da-da-da. And I was like, and then he goes, I lied. What do you mean you lied? he said, actually, it's a different girl who told him this story. And I'm like, I don't know who this girl is either. And he goes, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure what happened is, like, she has, like, a really big crush on me, and, like, I told her I wasn't interested, and, like, I don't think she understands that I'm not interested. It's like, she's part of a friend group, so we hang out, like, in a big group, but, like, I have no interest. I've rejected her multiple times, and I was like, yeah, you might say that, but whatever you're doing is showing the opposite, because how are you gonna be that crazy, insecure girl that makes up a whole story about someone you don't even know? I have no idea who this chick is. I've never even seen her a day in my life, I don't believe. And, so I'm like, okay, I am not interested in the drama. I don't want to talk to you if there's going to be all this drama. I don't want to talk to you if you have, like, some serious interest in this girl, because she's obviously crazy. I don't want to get involved with that. And he's like, no, whatever, da-da-da-da, you know. I was like, okay, we're fine. Like, I can't help that, anything with the rumor shit, you know. And he was like, yeah, we're good. Just go back to normal, right? And then, he left me on deliver for a while, and you know what, it doesn't matter. And then I got curious, right? Because I was like, let me look this girl up. Bitch. I went on her Instagram, and she was private, but she has, like, a spam account. Oh my God. He's in, like, multiple photos of hers, and I'm like, like, mouth dropped. I was not expecting it, because if you're posting someone, like, that must be pretty serious. I didn't know about this. And I looked at the date on, like, when the first one was. It was, like, a day before our first date. I was like, oh my God. I feel so bad for the poor girl. I feel so bad. Like, I mean, he's still trying to Snapchat me. I haven't opened it. I'm going to leave him one open, but, it's just, like, I feel bad for the girl, because, I mean, clearly she thought it was something serious, and he's over here, like, I mean, obviously he's not, you know, we're not doing nothing now, but I didn't know. I feel so bad, but yeah, no more talking to boys when you're bored, girls. I think that's just never the move. You know what I'm saying?
So normally I'm not the one to share any of my dating experiences, but I think that this one is pretty entertaining, and I just can't even make sense of it. I mean, people are funny. But with that being said, I just recently met somebody, talked for a few weeks, decided I'd fly to a different country, spend a couple weeks there, had a good enough time that I thought it would be great that she came to the States, right? We'll have a little holiday, have a little travel excursions, and see where I was given two options, and those options were, I can come now, but I'm not financially stable enough to pay for my apartment, my utilities, because I won't be working. Or option two, I can wait for 2 months, and then at that point, all you'll have to do is get my ticket. Okay, that's fair. I'd like to see you. Let's do option 1. Right before the trip, she says, well, I didn't really have enough, or I thought I had more money, but due to the holidays, I just don't have enough money to get my hair done. Is there any way that you could pay for my hair? I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I've already paid for the flights and I've already paid for the apartment, whatever else, no big deal. She flies here. She gets off the plane. She says, gosh, it'd be so nice to go get massages together. I'm like, it would be nice if I could just, offer the massages, rather than being hinted that it would be nice as soon as you get off the plane. The next morning, I have to work, obviously, but I work remote. So I'm working, and she says, I wasn't able to get my eyebrows laminated, and I thought it would be really nice if I could get my eyebrows laminated. I'm like, wow. Oh my goodness. And then later on, she says, I broke a nail. It's very unladylike not to have your nails done. And I think, okay. But I've already planned this, extravagant trip and around the holidays and taking off of work. And I thought, gosh, it'll be so nice to have fun. So, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and get all your, girly things done and we'll enjoy our trip. So we get all those things done. We end up going to a ski resort, and unfortunately, it was the first time in 30 years that it didn't snow on Christmas. And, obviously she was pretty upset, and so was everyone else on the mountain. Everybody else was upset because there was only like 2 inches of snow on the ground. The snow was in terrible shape, so nobody could ski. The ski passes were, $400 a day each. Everybody was complaining. And all I was thinking is, it'd be really cool to give this girl a white Christmas. And she was just mad because we weren't skiing. And her point was, why would you go to a mountain if you're not going to ski? And I said, well, because at one point you said you wanted a white Christmas. So I gave you a white Christmas. I mean, kinda. It's not a lot of snow on the ground, but I mean, I think it's the thought that counts. But I really don't want to spend $1,000 a day skiing if you'll probably just be upset like everybody else. And also, I don't even ski. We then pivot to our next destination, which is Mexico, to go see some of our friends. And one of our friends just happened to be with an older guy who, did significantly well and was just honestly a great guy. This guy was just kind of reserving dinner plans or prepaying for everything, and I made sure to tell him thank you, because there's no way that I can even pay for my part of the bill or everybody's bills or whatever that is. But he's just one of those guys that pays for everything. He's a great guy, great host. I made sure to tell him that I was thankful, but for whatever reason, and I even try to pay, multiple times at different places, and one time at dinner, and, one time for golf carts and whatever else. This girl takes me aside and says, hey, listen, you are humiliating me, and it is not another man's obligation to take care of you. It is not his responsibility, and you need to step it up. And I say, hey, listen, I've spent 30 grand. I paid for your rent. I paid for your hair. I paid for your nails. I paid for all these things. You can fuck off. Don't talk to me like that, and don't come at me like that. She then says, you're not going to talk to me like that, and no man ever will. I'm like, whatever. Fuck off. This is obviously going nowhere. I'm going to go ahead and fly you back home. She says, I'm not going home, and I'm not going back to Dallas. Dallas is boring, and it's too dangerous. I said, okay, well, you have no money. How do you plan on supporting yourself? She says, I'll get a loan from my mom. I'll get a loan from one of my friends. I'm like, are you kidding me? Whatever. How are you going to make it back to Dallas? She said, I mean, you can pay for my flight to come back to Dallas. I said, I'm not paying for your flight when you're just going to stay in Mexico and party. I'm not doing that. She said, well, you're going to pay for it anyway. I said, no, you can either come with me and I'll buy it and I'll send you back to where you came from, or you can stay here. But you also need to figure out how to get your things. This girl doesn't message, doesn't do anything. She asked for my driver in Mexico, all his contact information, and also for me to pay for this guy to take her somewhere to go see her other friend. She ends up just saying, like, no worries, I've got it taken care of. I don't need transportation. She ends up going to another destination. And then 2 days after the flight that I paid for back to the country she was from, she messages me and she says, hey, I need you to send my belongings that I was supposed to get to this place in Brooklyn. And gives me the address. And I'm like, yeah. And it's just big, condo out on the water. So the audacity that somebody has to come at somebody after such a little excursion or a holiday or whatever you want to call it is just great. It's one thing to spend 30 grand in 3 weeks, on somebody hanging out and just being around. And it's an entirely different thing for you not to come get your things and then for you to expect me to pay to send your stuff to what it looks like another guy's place that flew you from one country to another country and put you up in a condo. That is crazy. But anyways, I hope y'all get a kick out of this and you enjoy.